This is episode number 98. What fat percentage I should be to be healthy? Welcome everybody to another episode here in Body and Mind Transformation by Custom Body Fitness. This is your health coach Sandro Torres, and today I'm gonna explain to you the difference between a BMI, fat percentage, what percentage you should be to be healthy, where it's not a straightforward answer. You need to understand what health means before you can answer that question. So I explained that, and also low fat percentage doesn't mean healthy with your physical health and also mental health. So without even more introduction, let's go listen to the talk so you can hear the details. At CBF, we know that for you to change your body, you need to change your mind. Exercise and eating healthy is only part of the plan. We care about our members as we care about our family, because our members become our family. It is not about competition, but support. It is not about being the strongest or the fastest, but about you defeating your negative self. It is about working together and making the task challenging and have fun. By the end, what matters is not how hard the session was, but that you take control of your mind so you can take control of your body. My name is Sandro Torres, and I'm happy you are part of our family. Welcome to Custom Body Fitness. And the question goes like this: what is the percentage of body fat I should have to be healthy? So I'm gonna answer that question for you in case that you wanna know. But there is a couple points that I'm going to explain before I can answer that question. First of all, the BMI and the body percentage are not the same. The BMI is a scale that insurance company come out with for them to classify you as a high risk person or low risk person. High risk means that you are overweight. Low risk is that you are in a normal way. But the BMI discriminates a lot of things and is not accurate at all. For example, I'm 5'7", and according to the BMI, I should be weighing 140 pounds. And I weigh 180, so I'm 40 pounds overweight. But I have a lot of muscle, and my fat percentage is very low. Not only my muscle, but at the same time, my bone mass is also heavy because of the weightlifting. So that's not applicable for a lot of people. To people who don't exercise, who eat junk food and things like that, maybe it's applicable for that people, but it's not applicable for everybody. So the BMI doesn't really say anything, just like the scale doesn't say anything when you're lifting weights and exercising. The fat percentage is different. The fat percentage does tells you how much fat you have. But this is the next point that I want to explain to you. Let's say that you're born, and let's not take other factors into consideration, because there is a lot of factors that affect your health when you're born, such as your parents having habits, and the genes that because of their habits they turn off and on some genes and so on. But let's not take a lot of that into consideration. Let's say you are a healthy human being, so you are healthy, period. If you start eating junk food, you're not unhealthy yet. You don't have a disease yet. You're not overweight yet. But if you continue eating that junk food for a long period of time, now you become unhealthy. Now you're sick, and now you're overweight. So it's not that you overweight that make you sick or make you unhealthy is the habits that you practicing, the the junk food that you are eating that is giving you that overweight and for you to become unhealthy. So it's not the overweight. It's a correlation between health and overweight, yes, but the overweight doesn't dictate that you are unhealthy. Now, let's do it the other way. Let's say you are a person that ate a lot of junk food and you don't take care of yourself and you are overweight. Now you are unhealthy. Now that you're unhealthy, you find out that if you start eating healthy, if you start eating organic fruits, veggies, you get rid of processed food and so on, you start losing weight. That's true. But losing weight doesn't make you healthy. Now the habits that you're practicing are the habits that are making you healthy. So yeah, you're overweight, you have a disease, diabetes. Let's put that as an example. You're overweight. And now today you decide to eat healthy. You're not healthy right in this moment, but you start to be healthy. So within the week, now you are healthier because you start practicing the right habits. Now the weight is gonna come off because you start eating healthy. Your weight doesn't dictate that you're healthy, but your weight could be an expression that you're healthy because you're already eating healthy. So my point out of that is that your being overweight doesn't dictate your health, or your fat percentage doesn't dictate your health. Your habits dictate your health and dictate your fat percentage. As another example is there is skinny people, they're sick, they have diabetes, they have cardiovascular problems and so on because it's their habits, they're giving them those illnesses. So your health dictates your fat percentage. It dictates your habits, dictates your fat percentage and your health. So you don't really need to be in such a whatever fat percentage to be healthy. All you need to do is practice your good habits for you to be healthy. And as you practice good habits, the fat percentage start going lower, and the healthier your habits are, the less fat percentage you have. I hope that's clear. Now that I explained that to you, now let's talk about the fat percentage that I think people are happy with based on my experiences and my research. One of them is, for women, is 18% to 25% body fat. That's where people are happy. That's where women are happy. I say women that are comfortable between the 23 and 25% body, 25% body fat. And they're happy, they're comfortable there, and they look amazing, they look healthy. Of course, if they lift weight, their tone, and they seem confident and so on. And I say they feel comfortable because they feel comfortable. They don't feel like they do an extra stuff, and that's where they like to be. And every time I assess them, they seem happy where they are. Some ladies want to go lower, and it's possible to go lower. I have clients that are down to 19% body fat, and also so it's also possible. That's why I say it's between 18 and 25. But for that, you need to put a little bit more effort. For men, it's between 8% and 15%. Same story. Men are happy between 11 and 15%. They're comfortable. Some other men are willing to go the extra mile and go to the 9% body fat. That's where they feel very comfortable. They feel athletic. They feel great. They feel energetic and so on. But they got there because of their habits. Okay? So that's the fat percentage that I recommend a lot of people. I hope that answers the question about what and what fat percentage you should be to be healthy. We already discussed health. And there is one more point that I want to add to this conversation. It's low fat percentage doesn't mean that you are healthy, because not only your physical health is important, that it does affect your physical health if you're on very low fat percentage, but also your mental health. When you want to be in a fat percentage that is impossible, or a fat percentage that is not sustainable, then it becomes a mental distortion. It comes to the point that is called anorexia, because your fat percentage is something that your body can't handle anymore. That it's not that they can handle it. Your fat percentage works for many things: insulation, for your hormones, for your brain, for a lot of things. So when you're very low in that fat percentage, it's not healthy. If you're below the 6% body fat for women, for women, no, that's for guys. For women is below 9%, I believe. And sometimes with this, with the anorexia problem, not only you losing the fat percent, but you also losing muscle mass, and you losing a lot of bone mass. So it becomes a distortion. Your body is not healthy anymore, doesn't look healthy anymore. And more than anything, you have a problem here that you don't see how great you look when you have achieved just a healthy fat percentage. But once again, that's unhealthy to have a very low percentage that the body is not possible for the body to function. The man has the opposite. Also wants a very small fat percentage, but it has the one big muscles. You can grow big muscles naturally, but once you start taking drugs, steroids, that means that you're not happy with your body. That means that you have a mental distortion, and that's called vigorexia. Also, because you're not happy with you already achieved, and you're still injecting or taking steroids and trying to get bigger and bigger muscle, and it comes to the point that also you affect your intestines. Not only your brain, but now you're affecting your physical body. So also that is not healthy. So I want to add that point up there as well for you to know what's a healthy fat percentage, where you want to be and where you're going to feel comfortable. Thank you so much for continue following me. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this conversation, this talk. Thank you. Please share this talk with your friends who you know they need this information. We tune in the next talk.
So that's it, everybody. You have it right there. Straightforward. First of all, BMI and fat percentage is not the same thing. You want to rely your statistics and everything, your results and so on, by your fat percentage, not the BMI. You need to know what's health, and your health is not dictated by your fat percentage, but by your habits. And low percentage, low percentage doesn't mean healthy. It becomes a distortion when it's not healthy anymore. So hopefully you get that straightforward. You start working on your health, not only in your physical health, but also in your mental health, and also share that with people that you know they need this information so they can stay healthy. And like always, the message today is to stay mentally, physically healthy and close to God. And I hope a lot of people get to listen to this episode, because I believe it's one of the best. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being such a great follower, and we're gonna tune in the next episode.